classes. This is totally in contrast with the union government's allocation of rupees 1,970 crores roughly for the backward classes in the earlier budget. Be it NEET or national education policy, Tamil Nadu is opposing the schemes as it totally denies social justice. Having said this, from our AIOBC Employees Federation, we would like to project some of the important issues. Number one, the decision of the present union government to privatize the public sector undertakings will affect not only the economic development but also totally the concept of social justice. Hence, this has to be halted at any cost. Number two, there is an urgent need to have a data of various communities, and hence a caste census has to be undertaken by the union government because the caste census comes under the purview of the union government. Then, three, removal of creamy layer concept, which is totally unconstitutional. And even the government has not revised the rupees 8 lakhs annual income, which was fixed in 2017, even in 2023 also. Legal pundits opine that after the passing of 102 and 105 constitutional amendment together, having inserted articles 343A, 366, 26C subclass and 338B, the backward classes can no longer be categorized under the creamy layer concept. Hence, it has to be removed, and I request our distinguished leaders to kindly ponder over this important issue. The ceiling of 50% reservation imposed by Indira Jani judgment has already been breached by 103 constitutional amendment by providing 10% reservation to EWS. Even the Supreme Court of India, by its judgment dated 7th November 2022, has upheld this breach of 50% ceiling, and hence the backward classes has to be given 52% reservation as per Mandal Commission report. Even after 75 years of independence, still the backward classes, SCs, STs could not get their due participation in the decision-making process. Recent data in 12 public sector banks at the top position of chief general managers, OBCs, SCs and STs are just 8%. In general manager post, they are only 12%. In Group A post, OBCs are just 22%. Recently, Union Law Minister replied in Parliament that among the 569 judges in High Courts, BC, SC, ST and minorities are only 18%. All this data shows that there is a need to provide reservation promotion also up to the top level. The year-long celebration of the great Vaikam struggle has been started by our Honorable Chief Minister along with Kerala Chief Minister. His rich message at the inaugural function at Vaikam to retrieve legacy of Periyar and defined the philosophy of Periyarism, where self-respect, rationalism, humanism, non-discrimination based on blood or gender, self-development, women's empowerment, social justice, secular politics, and scientific temper needs to be taken forward to the next generation to protect social justice. The struggle for social justice has been going on for thousands of years, but in a democratic society, it need not and cannot continue. We once again thank the organizers and in particular our respected Honorable Chief Minister for the tremendous efforts that is put by him and the government in protecting and promoting justice for all. We thank the organizers for giving our AIOBC Employees Federation, having nearly 50 OBC associations from central government and public sectors, also an opportunity to share our views in this August conference. Thank you. I am G. Karunanidhi, General Secretary, AIOBC Employees Federation.
Honorable President, distinguished guests, brothers and sisters. On behalf of All India Forward Bloc, the party founded by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and nurtured by Pasumban Muthuramalinga Thevar, I congratulate Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam and its leader Sri M.K. Stalin for organizing this event under the banner of All India Federation for Social Justice to discuss a burning issue confronting our nation today. And indeed, it is an opportunity for the political force of our country, the political forces of our country to come together to discuss about how the ruling clique of our country is sabotaging the constitutional values enshrined very clearly in the preamble of our constitution. Our constitution says that our country is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. So when democracy is being negated both in the parliament and the outside, and the media persons, about 200 media persons are still in jail for writing against the government deeds or the policies of the government. When the opposition leaders are speaking in the parliament, it is being removed from the records of the parliament, and the government, they are being targeted by the inquiry agencies. The fascism is drawing energy from the weakness of parliamentary system. So the communal majority of our country is outnumbering the political majority of our nation. So it is a very unfortunate situation is being developed in our country. Our constitution ensures that justice for economic, social and political, but the discrimination is still there on the basis of caste, creed, religion, and even from the locality and the colors of skin. And how we can say that there is a justice when the entire natural and national assets have been privatized by the government? How we can say that there is equal opportunities? How we can say that the basic principles of our reservation can be ensured when 103rd amendments of our constitution, which negates the entire principles of the reservation. Nobody has objected in the parliament. Very few voices have been heard in the parliament. So reservation is not for a program for eradication of poverty. It has to ensure that opportunity for, it has to uplift the people who are socially and educationally backward. So that basic principle has been sabotaged in the parliament through this 103rd amendment of the constitution. So the time has come that a proper movement is needed for ensuring the social justice and ensuring the values which are enshrined in the constitution of our country. So this initiative of DMK and this Federation for Social Justice is an opportunity to discuss and to draw some program, some political program to protect our constitution, to protect the values of our democracy, to protect the secular character of our nation, and to protect the rights of the work. Because when there is a rampant privatization, there is no principles of reservation will be followed there. Whether it is right from civil aviation to ordnance factories, now rampant privatization is taking place. There is no scope for further reservation in this government sector or any public sector. So the equal opportunity for youngsters has been also. So this is the time to start to streamline our movement for education for all, employment for all, and health facilities for all, and to save our nation from the clutches of these communal divisive forces. So this initiative taken by DMK and this federation for provide an opportunity for the like-minded political forces, social forces to discuss about this vital issue. And All India Forward Bloc, the party founded by Subhash Chandra Bose, will remain with this movement. And finally, I would like to mention here that this is the centenary year of Vaikam Satyagraha, the first untouchability, the movement against untouchability started in Kerala, where Tandai Periyar, V. Ramaswamy Naikar was part and parcel of that movement. And this is a right opportunity to start or streamline or strengthen this movement. And it is also to be mentioned here, it's very imperative to mention here that it is Pashuman Muthuramalingam Thevar who led the movement for the engine for entering the people from the lower communities for the entry of Madurai Meenakshi temple. So that is also a historical moment. So the party of Pashuman Muthuramalingam Thevar, the Forward Bloc, will remain with this movement, and we will leave no stone unturned to strengthen the movement for social. Thank you very much once again for the organizers, and definitely we will remain with you and for the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Vaman Meshram, the National President BAMSIF, to deliver his address.
अब मैं BAMSIF के राष्ट्रीय पूर्व अध्यक्ष श्री वामन मेश्राम से सभा को संबोधित करने का अनुरोध करती हूं।
साथियों, सोशल जस्टिस मूवमेंट के बैनर के द्वारा एक ऑल इंडिया का प्रोग्राम आज होने जा रहा है। ये करने का काम तमिलनाडु के चीफ मिनिस्टर स्टालिन जी के द्वारा किया जा रहा है। इसके लिए मैं सबसे पहले उनको इस काम के लिए धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करता हूँ। दूसरी महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि भारत का जो बनाया गया ढांचा है, जिसमें बहुसंख्यक लोग वर्णा सिस्टम के नीचे शूद्र, अनटचेबल, आदिवासी, नॉमिडिक टाइप ऐसे लोग हैं। इन लोगों को केवल सोशल जस्टिस की ही जरूरत नहीं है, बल्कि डेमोक्रेटिक सेटअप में जो 4 पिलर सिस्टम है, पहला है विधायिका, दूसरा है कार्यपालिका, तीसरा है न्यायपालिका, चौथा है मीडिया। ये जो 4 पिलर डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम है, उसमें इन लोगों को रियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन की जरूरत है। आज इन लोगों को नॉमिनेटेड रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिला हुआ है। नॉमिनेटेड रिप्रेजेंटेशन से सोशल जस्टिस होने वाला नहीं है। पहली बात तो ये हमको समझना होगा, क्योंकि सोशल जस्टिस का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो बैकवर्ड क्लास का रिजर्वेशन जब लागू किया गया तो ये सामाजिक न्याय की बात है, ऐसा विश्वनाथ प्रताप सिंह के द्वारा कहा गया। मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि अगर ये बात है कि रिजर्वेशन को ही सोशल जस्टिस कहा गया, तो रिजर्वेशन से हमारी SC, ST, OBC इन लोगों को सोशल चेंज की जरूरत है। भारत में सोशल जस्टिस से भी ज्यादा सोशल चेंज की जरूरत है, जो जातीय वर्ण व्यवस्था और जाति व्यवस्था के आधार पर, अस्पृश्यता के आधार पर, आदिवासियों को सेग्रीगेट करने के आधार पर, महिलाओं को दास बनाने के आधार पर, घुमंतु जातियों को बहिष्कृत करने के आधार पर अधिकार वंचित की गई है, उनको केवल सोशल जस्टिस करने से समस्या का समाधान होने वाला नहीं है। सोशल चेंज किए बगैर इन लोगों की मौलिक समस्याओं का समाधान हो नहीं सकता। सवाल है फिर ये सोशल चेंज कैसे होगा, जब तक SC, ST, OBC माइनॉरिटी के लोग अपने बल पर अपना संगठन निर्माण नहीं करते और अपनी संगठित शक्ति का निर्माण नहीं करते, तब तक ये सोशल चेंज होने वाला नहीं है। तमिलनाडु में पेरिया रामस्वामी जी के द्वारा जो सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट मूवमेंट चलाई गई थी, वो इंडिपेंडेंट मूवमेंट थी, और वो इंडिपेंडेंट मूवमेंट चलाने की वजह से ही आज DMK जो बैकवर्ड क्लासेस का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उनको पावर में केवल हिस्सेदारी नहीं मिली है, बल्कि पावर पर कंट्रोल करने का मौका मिला है। ये बहुत बड़ा चेंज है। इस तरह का चेंज केवल तमिलनाडु में करने से समस्या का समाधान नहीं होगा। ये चेंज सारे देश भर में होना जरूरी है, और सारे देश भर संगठित शक्ति होना जरूरी है। इस संगठित शक्ति के बल पर सोशल चेंज किया जा सकता है। केवल सोशल जस्टिस से हमारी समस्याओं का समाधान होने वाला नहीं है। हमें सोशल चेंज करने की जरूरत है, और सोशल चेंज करने के लिए हमें अपनी खुद की संगठित शक्ति का निर्माण करना होगा, और वो करने के लिए अगर स्टालिन जी पहल करते हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, उनको ये करना चाहिए। मुझे इस काम में हम लोग उनको साथ सहयोग करेंगे, और वो ऑल इंडिया में अगर इसमें पहल करते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से इसका राष्ट्रव्यापी असर होगा। ऐसा करना जरूरी है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि स्टालिन जी इसके लिए पहल करेंगे। आपने मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनी, इसके लिए आभार, धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. B.D. Borkar, former President of People's Party of India Democratic, to deliver his address.
अब मैं पीपल्स पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया के पूर्व अध्यक्ष श्री BD बोरकर से सभा को संबोधित करने का अनुरोध करती हूँ।
Respected Honorable Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Honorable Justice Ishwaraya, Honorable Justice Yadav, Mr. Wilson, Member Parliament Rajya Sabha, other dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I am extremely thankful to the organizers and especially Justice Ishwaraya having given me an opportunity to put forth my views in this conference. I am presenting my views on behalf of my party, the People's Party of India Democratic. Our party is a nascent 4 years old, but an all India party having offices in about 12 states and working under the fully Ambedkarite ideology, which is nothing but the constitutional ideology. The nation should be governed by the constitution, which is a collective will and resolve of the people of this country that we shall provide justice, social, economic and political, and of course, equality of opportunity and status and liberty of thoughts and expression. We, the Mool Nivasi Bahujan, still stand by that solemn resolution in the Constituent Assembly. But the so-called Savarnas have disowned that resolution and gone back to make this country a Hindu Rashtra, against which Dr. Ambedkar has cautioned. He said, and I quote, "If Hindu Raj does become a fact, it will no doubt be the greatest calamity for this country. No matter what the Hindus say, Hinduism is menace to liberty, equality, and fraternity. On that count, it is incompatible with democracy. Hindu Raj must be prevented at any cost." When we, through our constitution, resolve to provide justice, it means distributive justice. It also means the resources of the nation should be equitably distributed to the peoples of this nation. How can it be done without collection of data of a different caste through census? This is the popular demand of the Mool Nivasi Bahujan Samaj, which constitutes 90% population of this country. Only a handful of Brahminical forces who have disowned the solemn resolution adopted by the Constitution are opposing the popular demand of caste census. What more can be expected from these creatures? They are the selfish lot who do not want to share the resources of the state because they will be losers and will not be allowed to amass the wealth of the nation. Whom to blame and from whom to demand the caste census? We are demanding it from those who are determined not to do it. They have filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court to that effect. We also cannot expect from the Supreme Court, because their kith and kin are sitting in the Supreme Court, to protect their class interests. Dr. Ambedkar, in the preface of his book, Who Were the Shudras, OBCs, and How Have They Come to be Fourth Varna in the Indo-Aryan Society, said, when someone has a courage to raise his voice against the so-called sacred books of Hindus, eminent Hindus who could be expected to have no interest and to have free and open mind becomes partisan and join the outcry. Even Hindu judges of the high courts and the prime ministers of Indian states do not hesitate to join their kind. In such a situation, what we have in our hand to get the census carried. Leave aside the justice, the distributive justice. Dr. Ambedkar was aware that such a situation shall come despite the provisions made in the Constitution. While exhorting his lieutenants, he said, the rights which I have provided in the Constitution, that will be for a limited period. When these rights vanish, what we shall have to depend upon is our organization, our unity, and our strength. Do we have any strength? Do we have any power? Having 90% population numerically, how can we say we have no strength? We have no power. We have power, not in our hands, but on the fingertips of our hand, which Dr. Ambedkar laboriously earned for us from British in 1930 and incorporated in our Constitution through Article 326 of the Constitution. What have we done with it? We have given this power in the hands of our enemies for the last 72 years and even continue to hope that they will use this power for our rights, for our betterment. I feel we are leading a life of illusion. Sooner we realize it is better for us, we must use that power and dethrone our enemy and capture the political power and use that power for our rights, for our betterment. Another important point is that if we have to fight RSS and its cohort, then we have to understand one thing. In this book itself, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar proved that we are not the Shudras of Indo-Aryan society. That is why in the title of the book itself, he said, how have they come to be fourth Varna of Indo-Aryan society? It means that the OBCs who are identified by Brahminical social order as the Shudras are not the Shudras of Indo-Aryan society, and by corollary are not the Hindus, which RSS claims them to be. We are different people, the original inhabitants, Mool Nivasi of this land. This awakening is required on large scale among OBC. Unless we distinguish ourselves from the Hindus of RSS, which are only Savarnas, we cannot fight them. There is no point to beat around the bush. To conclude, we have to fight RSS, BJP, not only politically by constitutional means, but socially by sociological means. Jai Bhim, Jai Mullivasi, Jai Samvidhan, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Lakshman Yadav, Professor, Delhi University, to deliver his address.
जोहार इंकलाब जिंदाबाद। दोस्तों, आज हम लोग जिस वजह से दिल्ली में इकट्ठा हुए हैं, ये बहुत जरूरी वजह है। बाबा साहब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर ने संविधान सभा की आखिरी बैठकों में एक बात कही थी कि ये राष्ट्र अभी है नहीं, भारत एक राष्ट्र है नहीं, भारत को राष्ट्र बनना है। इस राष्ट्र बनने में कुछ बहुत गंभीर चुनौतियां हैं। अगर हमें इस मुल्क से मोहब्बत है, अगर हम भारत के संविधान को चाहते हैं, हम सबका भारत बनाना चाहते हैं, तो हम उन चुनौतियों को पहचानेंगे, उन चुनौतियों से लड़ेंगे और सबका भारत बनाएंगे। जिन लोगों का जमावड़ा आज दिल्ली में हुआ है, ये सारे वैसे ही लोग हैं जो आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया से मोहब्बत करते हैं, भारत के संविधान को जहन में रखते हैं और ये बात समझते हैं कि इस देश में सबसे ज्यादा गैर बराबरी, अन्याय जाति के नाम पर हुई है। और जब तक इस देश में जाति का खात्मा नहीं होगा या जाति के नाम पर समानता वाला भारत नहीं बनेगा, आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया अधूरा है। इसलिए हम सामाजिक न्याय के मानने वाले लोग, बिरसा, फूले, अंबेडकर, पेरियार, अब्दुल कयूम अंसारी, भगत सिंह को मानने वाले लोग, मंडल और कांशी राम को मानने वाले लोग, इस देश के मोहब्बत करने वाले लोग आज यहां पर इकट्ठे की लड़ाई जरूरी है। ईवीएम से लेकर के तमाम तरह के संस्थानिक हत्याओं को हमें रोकना होगा, हमें जातिवाद को खत्म करना होगा, हमें सामाजिक न्याय, आर्थिक न्याय, लैंगिक न्याय की लड़ाई को आगे ले चलना होगा। इसलिए मेरा पैगाम इस मुल्क के आम आवाम से है, आइए, हमने भारत के संविधान और मंडल कमीशन का लाभ लिया है। हमने बिरसा, फूले, अंबेडकर, पेरियार, भगत सिंह, अब्दुल कयूम अंसारी, सावित्रीबाई फातिमा शेख का लाभ लिया है, उनके कुर्बानियों और संघर्षों का लाभ लिया है। इसलिए जिम्मेदारी हमारी है कि उनकी कुर्बानी से जो हासिल है उसे बर्बाद होने से बचाएं। खेत बचेगा तो हम आपस के झगड़े से निपट लेंगे कि किसके हिस्से की कितनी फसल। अगर खेत ही लुट गया, बर्बाद हो गया, तो बंटवारे की लड़ाई किस नाम पर होगी। मुल्क के 90% कमेरा लोगों, आइए मिल करके सामाजिक न्याय की लड़ाई को, जाति जनगणना की लड़ाई को, मंडल कमीशन के सिफारिशों के लागू कराने की लड़ाई को, शिक्षा के बचाने की लड़ाई को, भूमि सुधार की लड़ाई को, संसाधनों के बराबर के वितरण की लड़ाई को आगे ले चलें। और राष्ट्रभक्त हम हैं, राष्ट्र को बनाने का काम हमारे मुल्क के पुरखों ने किया है, इसलिए राष्ट्र को बचाने का काम हम करेंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। जय भीम, जय मंडल, संविधान जिंदाबाद, उलगुलान जिंदाबाद, इंकलाब जिंदाबाद।
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Anil Jaihind, the convener of the Samvidhan Bachao Sangharsh Samiti, to deliver his address.
Of the rich and upper class people of our country rule our country. Oxfam report reveals that there are 166 billionaires in our country, like Ambanis and Adanis, and top 1% of India's super rich own more than 40% of India's wealth, and top 10% own more than 2/3 of India's wealth, while bottom 50% own just 3% of India's wealth. So it is not a rocket science who are these super rich and who are the bottom poor. Without caste census, we all know that those who belong to the privileged castes of Brahminical hierarchical caste system are the super rich, and the backward classes are the bottom poor. Rich fund the political parties and government, so are the puppets of rich people and dance to their tunes. The policies of the government are dictated by the rich. As backward classes are poor, so they are voiceless. That is why even after 75 years of independence, we backward classes are still crying hoarse for our fundamental constitutional rights, but nobody cares. So the need of the hour is that we pull up backward classes from the black hole of poverty and make them wealthy. So how to pull them up? That is $1 million question. So there are 3 doors to wealth. One is inheritance from the parents, which is not possible in the case of backward classes. Second is social capital. I mean support from the family, from relatives, from caste, from community. That too is not possible for obvious reasons. Third is the bank loans. Even Adanis and Ambanis, they need bank loan to stay rich. But that is the irony, that 90% of bank loans are being dispersed to the privileged classes. The need of the hour is that we pressurize government to disburse at least 50% of the total amount of loan disbursed to these 80-90% of backward classes. Let us make our backward classes entrepreneur and wealthy, and social revolution will happen as a natural outcome of that. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Ratan Lal, Professor, Delhi University, to deliver his address.
P. Wilson, Justice Ishwaraiya Sahab, Justice Virendra Singh Yadav Sahab, and other dignitaries for organizing such an important and great program and taking head-on against the draconian BJP RSS regime, whose commitment is more to the Manusmriti than to the constitutional separate electorate for the depressed classes. But this tussle between untouchables and OBC never affected Ambedkar's ideas of Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya. He always stood for the rights of OBC communities, and when he got the opportunity to frame the Constitution of India, first he made the provision for OBC reservation in Article 340. And we should also remember when Ambedkar resigned from the Nehru cabinet, and out of 4 reasons, one reason was non-implementation of OBC reservation or commission. At this juncture, we should remember that Ambedkar met Periyar twice, and Ambedkar favored the revival of non-Brahmin parties of Bombay and Madras provinces. We must now congratulate the Honorable Chief Minister Tamil Nadu for combining the struggle of both Ambedkar and Periyar. I request Honorable CM Thiru M.K. Stalin and other OBC leaders to come forward and appeal their followers to stand up as the vanguard fighters against the atrocities on scheduled caste and scheduled tribes minorities by the caste Hindus, upper caste Hindus, and don't align with them in any way. We should recognize the support made by SC/ST OBC minorities, and they have always supported and fought for reservation of OBC, protection of their rights and caste census. So once again I request all of you, the dignitaries, to stand up as a crusader against the Brahmanical forces and protect the interest and dignity of SC/ST OBCs, minorities, women and all. And the Tamil Nadu model of social justice must be repeated at all India level. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Suraj Mandal, Professor, Delhi University, to deliver his address.
M.K. Stalin Sahab, Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru P. Wilson Sahab, who is the Honorable Member of Parliament, and Justice Ishwaraiya, Justice Virendra Singh Yadav, and all the honorable guests, and the entire country, citizens of India who are listening to me. This country and its constitution are all being hit. They are being hit hard by the draconian regime of Bharatiya Janata Party. Our constitution is at peril. It is being attacked by a document called Manusmriti, which is the epitome of Brahmanism, which is the guiding document of Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS, by way of which all the interests of SC, ST, OBCs and minorities are being trampled every day. This country is being sold. All the corporates are looting the country, and the entire scenario is very grim. We only have hopes like Thiru M.K. Stalin, who is standing up against all these odds in a very difficult situation, fighting for the social justice, fighting for the rights of OBCs in form of implementing NEET, or also opposing EWS, which is
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Bahadur Singh Lodhi, the Chief Organizer of Pichavarg Samyukt Sangharsh Morcha, Madhya Pradesh, to deliver his address.
कि भारत देश में संख्या कितनी है, इसलिए प्रति 10 वर्ष बाद भारत देश में जनगणना होती है। दुनिया का 9वां देश है भारत। भारत के 50% से अधिक जनगणना से मांग करते रहे हैं। भारत की जनगणना में हमारी जनगणना हो। भारत की जनगणना में SC, ST सामान्य वर्ग की जनगणना होती है। मत पंथ के अनुसार हिंदू की गणना होती है, मुसलमान की गणना होती है, ईसाइयों की गणना होती है, परंतु ओबीसी की गणना नहीं होती। स्त्री पुरुषों की गिनती होती है, परंतु ओबीसी की गिनती नहीं होती। यहाँ तक कि हिजड़ों की गिनती होती है, परंतु ओबीसी की गिनती नहीं होती। हम ऐसा मानते हैं, हमारी हैसियत भारत में हिजड़ों से दी गई बीती है। इसलिए आप सभी से और भारत के समस्त न्याय प्रिय लोगों से हम सब निवेदन करते हैं कि जनगणना के लिए भारत सरकार पर दबाव बनाया जाए।
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Dilip Mandal, senior journalist, to deliver his address.
This meeting of Social Justice Forum, this meeting is happening at a very crucial juncture of history of nation, because at this moment of history, we need actually to blend growth and social justice, and without doing that, we will leave behind large swath of population who are not getting benefit of the policies and the nation building process. So as we have seen in some of the states, especially southern states, and I would like to name Tamil Nadu and also to some extent Kerala, they have shown a way of the development model, and I call that model growth with capability approach, or what you call Dravidian model. That model takes into account that the population as a whole should be made capable, their capacity has to be enhanced so that they become part of the development matrix. Otherwise, the middle class will not grow, and with that, the manufacturing sector and also to some extent services sector will not grow. So this model, this Dravidian model, propagated by DMK and being carried forward by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, is a model which other states and union government should also follow. And it's very important that now this model is getting popularity, and it's becoming popular in the north also, because you can see that how all the development indexes of Tamil Nadu is surging forward, moving ahead, and beating many of the states. So that is the model which is there, which other states can follow, or they can make amendments according to their local needs. But capability approach is the way, and this is the era of social justice. This is the century of social justice, what we call the Ambedkar century, and in this century, we need to broaden the scope of middle class, and that new middle class will obviously come from scheduled caste, OBC, scheduled tribe, denotified tribes, and all those minorities and other communities from the rural population. And I think that model is the way forward. And it's great that you are holding this meeting, and with this, you will take different other initiatives also to make this model national model. And with this, I congratulate you again for holding this meeting, and I hope that resolution will be passed in this meeting, which will become a template for other states and union government to follow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. P. Wilson, Member of Parliament and convener of the All India Federation for Social Justice, to deliver the keynote address.
The Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, President of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, and the fourth leader of Dravidan movement, Thalavar M.K. Stalin Avargale, our very special guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Ashok Gehlot, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Honorable Mr. Hemant Soren, Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Honorable Mr. Tejasvi Yadav, Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Honorable Mr. Sitaram Yechury, General Secretary, Communist Party of India, Marxist, Honorable Mr. D. Raja, General Secretary, Communist Party of India, Honorable Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, Leader of Opposition, Uttar Pradesh and President, Samajwadi Party, Honorable Mr. Farooq Abdullah, Member of Parliament, President, Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, and all other honorable members of Parliament, members of legislative assemblies, leaders from various political parties across India, Honorable Justice Retired V. Ishwaraya, Convener of Social Revolution Alliance and Chairman of All India Backward Classes Federation, Honorable Mr. Justice Retired Virendra Singh Yadav, Chairman of Social Revolution Alliance, all other dignitaries who have joined us on the digital platform and physically present here, social justice activities, office bearers of organizations, press, media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and vanakkam. The DMK party was founded on the four pillars of self-respect, equality, social justice, and rational thought. These four ideals are essential to establish an egalitarian society with equal rights for all. Right from Thandai Periyar to Peraringer Anna to Muttamil Kalaignar Dr. Kalanya, and now to our party president Thalavar M.K. Stalin, the DMK party has always been the voice of the voiceless, striving to secure for the underprivileged and the downtrodden economic and social justice. The Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, after donning the mantle as a leader of Dravidian movement, he left no stone unturned to ensure social justice and equality. Some of the Dravidian model government's policies and achievements are unprecedented. He is a man of action. He says only what he will do and does more than what he says. Of the many historical injustices meted out to the OBC, SC and ST communities, the worst is the artificial divide created by caste in place of worship that only persons born in a few so-called forward communities are fit enough to serve God. Thandai E.V.R. Periyar's long-standing dream was to have priests from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward class communities in temples to break this historical oppression, and our leader fulfilled this dream recently by issuing orders to train and appoint archakas from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and OBC communities as temple priests, reinforcing the idea that all people are created equal and should be treated as such. Why I started with this example is to highlight that achieving social justice is not only through reservation policies. Reservations are an important tool to ensure equality of opportunity in education and employment, but we must not restrict social justice policies only to reservations. Today's program is therefore a platform for exchange of ideas to shape policy making across India in all spheres of governance. The thread of social justice must not be woven as a blanket that protects Tamil Nadu or Rajasthan or Bihar or Uttar Pradesh alone, but must cover the length and breadth of India, especially states that have so far not had a social justice awakening. Today, we find ourselves in a political battle with an ideology of division. We must meet it with unity of purpose between those who cherish the notions of equality and fraternity embedded in our Constitution's very preamble. There are forces at play that are trying to not only stall the upliftment of socially backward communities, but also reverse the progress so made so far. Our leader, தலைவர் M.K. Stalin, recognizing that the fight for social justice has to be united, all India effort sounded the bugle to establish the All India Federation for Social Justice last year on the 74th Republic Day as a forum to unite like-minded leaders, political parties, activists, and members of civil society from all across the nation to come together to discuss, exchange ideas and thoughts, and engineer policies to promote, protect, and further the cause of the social justice and cooperative federalism. He wrote individual letters to all the leaders of the political parties in India last year, informing about the formation of All India Federation for Social Justice and inviting them to join the federation. Answering the call, many parties have joined hands to come together today, and more are expected to join us in the near future. It is essential to acknowledge that in order to have a true egalitarian state, social justice must be the cornerstone. Though social justice has many connotations and interpretations, our leader, Through M.K. Stalin, beautifully summarized the core philosophy as everything for everyone. This means that the idea behind social justice is that the state's resource must be equally accessible to all members of society. Thus, when education or employment is being monopolized by one section of society, reservation was a tool we used to open the windows of opportunity to the marginalized communities. The battle for reservation was fought in both the political and legal arenas. As you are aware, 2 years ago, DMK, under the guidance of our leader, Honorable Mr. M.K. Stalin, fought for the OBC reservations in medical and dental seats in courts. And through the court, we secured 27% reservations for the OBC. And as a result, every year, about 4,022 seats in medical courses and about 1,000 seats in dental courses will be made available for the OBC students throughout India. Friends, now see how this victory is being undone by the forces I mentioned. Recently, the medical counseling authorities have started counting seats obtained by the OBC candidate through merit towards the OBC quota instead of the general quota. For example, if rank 1 is a OBC candidate, instead of counting him as the first seat in the general category, they are counting him as the first in the OBC category, thereby ensuring that the general category is only for the forward castes. This is the kind of systemic abuse of power that parties should come together to oppose. In this conference, a few key policy areas are to be addressed by the honorable guest. The first is the urgent need to conduct a caste census. Recently, state laws granting OBC reservations in local body elections were struck down by the various high courts and Supreme Court on the ground that there is no empirical data on the caste population. Our leader, Honorable through M.K. Stalin, has been time and again speaking about due representation in higher judiciary. In fact, he made this request before two sitting Honorable Chief Justices of India at different points. Our present Honorable Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, has been very receptive in this regard. He has heard our pleas for social representation and he has publicly committed by maintaining diversity in the higher judiciary, which is very commendable. However, at the state levels, we must ensure that when high courts consult the respective state governments for appointment of judges, we insist on the due representation of all communities and women. I would also take this opportunity to place before this August gathering the need to include OBC reservations in promotions as well and not just initial appointment, since social ostracization continues even after the appointment to a service. Therefore, there is a need to amend Article 16(4)(a) to grant reservations in promotions post as well when there is underrepresentations of backward classes. Another important aspect is that we reach out to the next generation to continue the battle for social justice. The legacy of great social justice warriors must be passed on to them. In Tamil Nadu, we have our Mr. Udayanithi Stalin, Secretary of the DMK Youth Wing, actively promoting study circles and focus groups to educate today's generation about the struggles of Tandai Periyar and other social justice leaders. The inculcations of social justice values in the next generation is of paramount importance. Before I conclude, I thank Honorable Justice Ishwaraya, Honorable Justice Virendra Singh Yadav, who have brought together the various backward class organizations for this event. I sincerely thank Honorable Mr. Ashok Gehlot, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Honorable Mr. Hemant Soren, Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Honorable Mr. Tejasvi Prasad Yadav, Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Honorable Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, Leader of Opposition, Uttar Pradesh, and other honorable guests who have come here and who are coming on the online, and other special invitees and speakers for their participation and address in today's event. I wholeheartedly thank my beloved தலைவர், Honorable M.K. Stalin, Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, for being the guardian of social justice and uniting the country's most important social justice voices under this platform, and for being inspiration and driving force behind this federation. I thank each and every one of the honorable guests for their august presence here, and I'm positive this conference and federation is the first step of the journey to establish a nationwide network of social justice policies, heralding a new age in our democracy. Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Derek O'Brien, Member of Parliament and Parliament Party Leader in the Rajya Sabha of the All India Trinamool Congress to deliver the special address.
Thank you. Good evening. Being the first speaker, I better set a good example and keep to time. We've been given 5 minutes each, so I'll keep to time. Congratulations to Mr. Stalin for putting this together. And just to save time, I have the permission, I suppose, of all the dignitaries to say good evening to each one of you without mentioning anyone by name. On behalf of the All India Trinamool Congress and its chairperson, Chief Minister of West Bengal, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, I'm happy to share a few thoughts. So let's dive straight in. Let's look at the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. UP reported the highest number of cases, 26% UP. Which party runs UP? We know the answer. Madhya Pradesh reported the highest number of cases at 30%. Which party runs Madhya Pradesh? We know the answer. Women. Crimes against women have increased by 15%. Sadly, there are 86 cases of rape every day. Kolkata, fortunately, where I come from, is the least crime population from the metropolitan cities. And we had 11 rapes, but that's even 11 rapes too many. I want to give you very, very quickly some examples of Bengal to share, which can become a model. My friend Mr. Wilson was telling us about Tamil Nadu, and I think it's a great learning experience where states can learn and share good ideas from each other. The Kanyashri scheme in Bengal touches 81 lakh girls. It's a cash allowance, which has been awarded. It's got a lot of international awards. The Vivekananda Scholarship has benefited 8 lakh students. That's from economically backward sections. The Rupashri is a cash transfer scheme for women before marriage. That's more than 2 lakh women. And there are other schemes like Yuvashri, which has a financial assistance for 2 lakh youth, and a scholarship for minority community students called Aikyashri. So there are lots and lots of schemes. We don't have the time to go into those details, but I want to leave you with two thoughts for this conference. The caste-based reservation should extend. I completely agree with what Mr. Wilson said in his opening remarks, and I do believe the caste-based reservation should extend to Dalits and the converts to other religions. And of course, there's been a considerable delay in census. And with so many great minds here today, I want to leave you with a thought of seeing the Ranganath Mishra Commission in 2007. And that commission had recommended that, I can be heard. So that's 3 minutes. So I've got another 2 minutes. So I've made some points about the opening remarks. But in the next 2 minutes, I really again want to congratulate the DMK and the Mr. Stalin for getting political parties on a common platform. Now that's the need. It's wonderful. The Chief Minister, Mr. Gehlot, is here from a Congress state. We have Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, Mr. Hemant Soren from the JMM, and all the political parties are here. There are still 2 or 3 political parties who don't want to fight the BJP. This is not the time to sit on the fence. I would humbly appeal to Mr. Naveen Patnaik and the Biju Janata Dal. You've got to be here, sir. We together, Mr. Jagan Reddy of the YSR. And I know we keep saying this is not a political platform. Of course, all these are political platforms, and let's not shy away, because now is not the time to be gray. Now is the time to be black or white. We have a task to do, and thank you so much for hearing me out. And I want to encourage all the other speakers after this to stick to their time. Thank you very, very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now request Honorable Mr. Chagan Chandrakant Bhujbal, the member of the Legislative Assembly, Maharashtra, and former Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra from the Nationalist Congress Party, to deliver his special address.
At the outset, I thank Honorable Stalin for convening this National Conference for Social Justice. I have 2-3 suggestions. All other things we are discussing since long. From various parties, we people are here. Number one, so far, this national census is not begun. I would say, let us pass the resolution unanimously that in this census, caste census also should be included. And what for? Iske pehle bhi, there are 2 groups were formed to study the OBC problems. One under the Sumitra Mahajan, 16 MPs were there, and another under the leadership of Manmohan Singh. And both these study groups, they said, yes, OBC people, they do require some help from the central government and the state government. As this scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people, they get it. but we don't have the data. So they wrote to the census commissioner that please you let us know if you have that data with you. If not, collect it. So आने वाले इस जनगणना में ओबीसी की जनगणना होनी चाहिए, ये रिजोल्यूशन हमको पहला करना चाहिए। दूसरा, हम चाहते हैं कि अभी विल्सन साहब ने भी कहा कि the cases are going on in the Supreme Court and he knows that the PESA is there, PESA Act is there. Now, in some blocks, we are getting only 2%, 3% because as per the tribals population, first they should be given the this reservation and the remaining to the other groups, right? Now, for economical backward class, nothing is reduced, but OBC reservation is reduced. Somewhere 2%, somewhere 4%. We should say we are not against the PESA Act and tribal people, but our 27% of the OBC reservation should be retained as it is. This is number 2. So these 2 resolutions we should pass. Some leaders from this forum should approach our Prime Minister, go to him, tell him, please do it for us, because we are 54% people in the country. You see, it's very clear that we are not here to discuss the politics. Now the people are playing politics on the name of this, in the name of this OBC people. Recently, राहुल गांधी और इनका कुछ चला है मोदी जी का। राहुल गांधी जी ने कुछ बोला वो मोदी है, मोदी वो है, बस बोले कि ओबीसी के खिलाफ राहुल गांधी बोले। अभी कहाँ होता है ओबीसी के खिलाफ? ये नीरव मोदी जैन है, ललित मोदी मारवाड़ी है, पूर्णेश मोदी बनिया है। अब मैं गुजरात की जो ओबीसी की लिस्ट लाया हूँ, वहाँ कहीं भी मोदी नाम की जात नहीं है। मोदी इज अ सरनेम। वो तो पारसियों में भी होता है, अलग अलग लोगों में होता है। तो ओबीसी को खाम जो है बीच में लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मैं आप सबको चाहूंगा इन सारे बातों के ऊपर ध्यान दे, 2 रिजोल्यूशन पास करे, प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब को मिले और कहे कि जाति गणना में ओबीसी की जाति गणना हो जाए और हमारा 27% जो है रिजर्वेशन जो कुछ भी हो सब जगह सारे देश में रिटेन होना चाहिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच मिस्टर स्टालिन एंड ऑल द स्टाफ। थैंक यू। नाइस वन।
Thank you, sir. I now request Honorable Mr. E.T. Mohammed Bashir, Member of Parliament, Organizing Secretary of the Indian Union Muslim League, to deliver the special address.
Namaste to everybody. Most respected M.K. Stalin ji, who is giving dynamic leadership for this bold initiative. Similarly, other dignitaries and my dear friends. On behalf of IUML, Indian Union Muslim League, I am quite happy to address this gathering and associate with this movement. At the very beginning, I salute Sri Stalin ji for the hard and dedicated service for the preservation of the social justice and that kind of movement in this country. One thing I would like to say that this movement is not a small thing. Its significance and relevance in Indian politics also is very important. If this is strengthened properly, I'm confident and I would like to say that this movement is going to shape the future destiny of Indian politics. We have to be very careful in that kind of things. Now, I endorse with the views expressed by my learned friends with regard to caste census. I don't want to elaborate. That is the need of our in the parliament, inside the parliament, outside the parliament, and wherever we are the meeting, we have to raise this slogan and have a total dedication to get this thing done. We must use our good office by all means to get this thing done. We have to realize one more thing. BJP in the political laboratory is now working on how to curb or how to remove the existing reservation system itself. First effort was EWS, a bill passed in the act passed in the parliament. From that onwards, they are doing that work only. The latest is Karnataka, that 4% for the OBCs, Muslims. It is removed. These kind of things are going on in BJP ruled states also. So we have to take very joint kind of attack against this kind of injustice happening in this country. One thing is what exactly is social justice? What exactly is the empowering kind of thing? It is a reservation and reservation role. So in that way, we have to do the maximum possible in this. We all know the latest situation. I don't want to narrate. Time is very less. Backward section in the society, Indian society now, they are facing a kind of identity crisis and security crisis. So we have to realize that also. Similarly, I'm not hesitate to say that the minorities in the country, especially the Muslims, they are facing a kind of genocide kind of treatment in this country. There are many things to say, but considering the time frame of this thing, I don't want to say much about this. This government make wonderful slogans such as Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and Sabka Vishwas. But one thing is clear: even an iota of honesty is not there in the government in shouting this kind of slogans. And in the parliamentary system, MPs are here. We are all working in the parliament. What exactly is happening? There also, government is making legislation on how to curb the existing privileges of the minorities. We all know many things. I don't want to elaborate much on this. Lawmaking is meant for what now? Lawmaking in the parliament, as well as BJP ruled states, that their plan is what? How to make a law to hurt the depressed section of the society. For that only they are making laws. I don't want to cite all the examples. So BJP ruled states are one after another, they are making this kind of effort. We know CAA kind of thing, NRC kind of things. I don't want to say much about that. And atrocities. Atrocities are now increasing like anything. Is playing havoc. That kind of thing is, actually, those who are criticizing this kind of thing, they are even targeted. Their cases are taken against them. This kind of thing is going on. There are also a kind of strong protest to come. Otherwise, this may flare up to any extent. That also is there. Department of Social Justice. I'm a member of that consultative committee of the parliament. My learned friends also may be there. What exactly is happening there? That department is the most worst department as far as government of India is concerned now in the parliament. In that consultative committee, I have asked a question in the parliament on the expenditure on the social justice, this thing. What is happening? They are purposely trying to curb the very existence of that department. Budget allotment, it is not utilized. Sometimes it is underutilized. Even certain, I will tell you, certain scholarship given to the minorities, that is now completely stopped. There is no reason. There is no justification in their activities. This kind of things are going on. And using draconian law to silence the opponents. Of course, we are having strong kind of approach. Unfortunately, now that also is under threat. You cannot speak, you cannot write, you cannot ask the questions, you cannot raise your voice. Media persons, they are behind the bar. What sin they have committed? They are out against government policies. Who are writing against government policies, they are taken under custody and they are in the jail even without giving a charge sheet. These kind of things are going on. How to make an end to this? Yeah, end can be made only through the joint effort of all the like-minded parties who are committed for social justice. I am confident that this will become a reality, especially in the light of Tamil Nadu experience. We may be able to make our ideas into action. With this meeting should be to have renew that determination. With these few words, I once again express my thanks and congratulations for Mr. Sarin and his team for taking initiative for such a moment. With this few words, I can go. Thank you very much.
Sir, I now invite Honorable Thiru Manoj Kumar Jha, Member of Parliament, Rashtriya Janata Dal Bihar, to deliver his special address.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, DMK, Comrade Stalin, everyone for this first National Convention, All India Forum for Social Justice. You have a great legacy, DMK, as a political party. I don't consider DMK as merely a political party, it's a social revolution. And parties born out of social revolution, they have a commitment which other parties can't match. In lighter vein, many of our friends say that Rashtriya Janata Dal is the DMK of North. So we feel privileged when such assertions are made. I can only, on behalf of my political party, I can only say we stand in solidarity. We shall work together, even within parliament and outside, in state assemblies. Now, I have never seen that a population so huge, and world over you won't get a sense that such huge population is getting the kind of treatment it is getting. We must also remember that the fight for social justice today is much more difficult than it ever was, because we are operating in a polarized society. And in a polarized politics, the greatest victim is values and principles of social justice. Lest all of us forget about it, I think we must put our act together. From this room onwards, we work together on the streets, in the parliament, in state assemblies, as Bihar is conducting its own caste survey. Now, people are asking, your caste survey will result in casteism. I mean, come on, have some sense. Casteism has existed for thousands of years. And here we have somebody in front of me. He repeated only those issues what Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar had said. What happened to him and his ideas and his politics? That should be an eye-opener to all of us, that from this room onwards, let's work together. Not only for caste census, we should give a call. No census if no caste census. Let's boycott the census. Because why do we need numbers? Numbers have a chemistry. Numbers have a psychology. Numbers have attraction. We need all these three. Thank you very much. On behalf of my party, I stand in solidarity. We work together inside the parliament. Balu sir knows it. We shall work outside the parliament and make sure that this government, which I believe that it has actually a doctoral degree in deflection. You ask them, I mean, that entire controversy around Modi's surname. Come on, boss. If you are so concerned about it, why the vacancies? If you are so concerned about it, did you look at the faces of your member of cabinet? If you are so concerned, do you look at the real idea of representation? Not. So we understand your politics. Now we shall make sure you understand our politics. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Rajkumar Saini, former Member of Parliament, Loktantra Suraksha Party, Haryana, to deliver his special address.
नमस्कार. सबसे पहले मैं आज बधाई देना चाहता हूं एमके स्टालिन जी और पिछड़ा वर्ग आयोग के चेयरमैन रहे ईश्वरैया जी को कि उन्होंने अशोक गहलोत जी, चीफ मिनिस्टर राजस्थान, चीफ मिनिस्टर हेमंत सोरेन जी और तेजस्वी यादव डिप्टी सीएम बिहार और लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन अखिलेश जी और फॉर्मर चीफ मिनिस्टर फारूक अब्दुल्ला जी और बहुत सारे लोगों को इनवाइट करके जो आज का प्रोग्राम रखा है उसके लिए मैं बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा स्टालिन जी को और ईश्वरैया जी को। मित्रों, जब तक बराबरी गैर बराबरी रहेगी तब तक कोई इंसाफ नहीं होगा। इस देश के अंदर हमारे तीन हीरो थे, पेरियार ई रामास्वामी, बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर और महात्मा ज्योतिबा राव फूले। जिन्होंने इस देश के अंदर अंधविश्वास और गुलामी की जो मानसिकता देश के अंदर हुई है, इसके मानसिकता गुलाम होने की वजह से ये देश मनुस्मृति की वजह से कंगाल हुआ, गरीब रहा। हमारे से बाद जापान, रूस, चीन जैसे देश आजाद होकर के आज 100% जो बुद्धिस्ट कंट्री हैं, जहां कोई देवी देवताओं का, अंधविश्वास का कहीं कोई स्थान नहीं है। कम से कम वो देश जो दुनिया को टेक्नोलॉजी के रास्ते आज हमें मार्गदर्शक बने हुए हैं। जापान 100% बुद्धिस्ट कंट्री है और जिसने दुनिया को रास्ता दिखाया, जो 1945 में नेस्तनाबूद हो गया। लेकिन इस देश में 33 करोड़ या 33 कोटि देवी देवता, जो बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर, महात्मा ज्योतिबा फूले और पेरियार ई रामास्वामी ने इन शास्त्रों के बारे में, इन धार्मिक शास्त्रों के बारे में जो वर्णन किया है, उस पर हमारे देश के सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी मुहर लगाई है कि ये सब रामायण, महाभारत और वैदिक शास्त्र ये कपोल कल्पित कहानियां घड़ी गई हैं। इस देश से बौद्ध धर्म और जैन धर्म को समाप्त करने के लिए जो लिखा गया है, वो कम से कम इस देश के विनाश के लिए बहुत बड़ा एक फसाद खड़ा आज भी करता है। ढोल ग्वार शूद्र पशुनारी सकल ताड़ना के अधिक विश्वास फैलाया जा रहा है। बहुत सारे जेल में जा चुके हैं। जिस दिन से मोबाइल अस्तित्व में आया है, हम और आप बैठ करके इसके ऊपर आज चर्चा कर रहे हैं। कम से कम इसमें अब बहुत ज्यादा देर नहीं लगेगी। बहुत देर हो चुकी है। इस देश की गरीबी का जो मूल कारण है वो है हमारा ऊंच नीच पैदा करने वाला जो धर्म जिसको हम हिंदू धर्म कह रहे हैं। जबकि आप जानते हैं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी बहुत सारे के कोई शब्द इन शास्त्रों में हिंदू नाम का नहीं है। ये तो महात्मा गांधी ने कि कहीं ब्राह्मणवादी व्यवस्था ये माइनॉरिटी में ना आ जाए तो बाकी के लोगों को, सब दलित पिछड़ा जिसको हम मूल निवासी कहते हैं, इनको जोड़ करके ये जो 80% लोगों को इसमें इन्वॉल्व किया है। जब हमें अधिकार देने हैं तब तो हम दलित और पिछड़े हैं, लेकिन जब हमें वोट लेने हैं हमारे से तब हम हिंदू हैं। यही एक देश की बदकिस्मती है कि जिसको वामन मेश्राम जी ने बहुत सही शब्दों में कहा कि जब तक सामाजिक परिवर्तन नहीं होगा तब तक इस देश को बिना सत्ता के हम इंसाफ नहीं दिला सकते। अगर इंसाफ दिलाना होगा तो सबसे पहले मानसिक गुलामी और जातीय व्यवस्था जो है इसको खंडित करके हमें बराबरी करनी होगी, जैसे बाकी के देशों में है, जहां पर जाति व्यवस्था इतनी प्रगाढ़ हो चुकी है कि हम अपनी जाति पे नाज करके ये दलित और पिछड़ा जो आज अंधविश्वास में इनको फूल बरसाए जाते हैं कि आप बस भोले बने रहिए, भांग और सुल्फा पी करके और ढोल नगाड़े बजाते रहिए, यही व्यवस्था इस देश का नाश कर रही है। जबकि हमारे देश के अंदर अगर हम चाहते हैं कि ये देश आगे बढ़ जाए तो इस स्वर्ग नरक के डर से बाहर निकलना हो। अन्यथा स्वर्ग और नरक के नाम पर इस देश को लूटा गया है। इस देश को कर्म के भरोसे नहीं, भाग्य के भरोसे स्टार्ट किया गया है। क्या होता है स्वर्ग? किसी के घर में दाना पानी अच्छा है, समाज में इज्जत है, घर में क्लेश नहीं, मुकदमा बीमारी नहीं, तो वो घर स्वर्ग है। उसकी बनिस्बत जहां भाई भाई दो इंच जमीन के लिए खूनी दुश्मन हो रहा, वहां जो है आप सब जानते हैं कि या किसी को पैरालाइज हो गया एक्सीडेंट में, कहीं उसके कोमा में चला गया, इन बिटवीन जो है ना वो जो व्यक्ति पड़ा हुआ जिसको कीड़े पड़ गए वो यही नरक और स्वर्ग भोगता है। आसमानों में कहीं स्वर्ग या नरक नहीं है। इसी डर की वजह से कि पुनर्जन्म में आप जो भी कमाओ, इस दलित और पिछड़े मूल निवासियों को बस यही समझाया गया कि जो कमाओ हमें दान पुण्य कर दो और फिर हम जो है ना स्वर्ग में आपको भेज देंगे। स्वर्ग से आकर के किसी ने आज तक बताया नहीं कि मैं स्वर्ग पहुंच गया और जाके किसी ने देखा नहीं। इसी व्यवस्था के कारण ये पूरा देश लूट रहा है। मित्रों, मैं तो इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि अगर आप चाहते हैं राजनीति में तभी जा पाएंगे जब हम अंधविश्वास से बाहर निकलेंगे। हमारा दलित और पिछड़ा सिर्फ मानसिक गुलामी की वजह से आज हालात से बेबस उन बाबाओं के चक्कर में, उन पंडित पुजारियों के चक्कर में फंसा हुआ है जो कर्म के भरोसे नहीं, भाग्य के भरोसे उनको डाल रहे हैं और डर दिखा दिखा करके लूट रहे हैं। मित्रों, आज ये व्यवस्था जो आज स्टालिन साहब के प्रयासों से, ऐश्वर्या जी के प्रयासों से जो ये आज का प्रोग्राम रखा गया, मैं उनको पुनः धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं और इतने सारे लोगों को आपने जोड़ा, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Mahadev Jankar, Member of Legislative Council, Maharashtra, to deliver his special address.
First of all, I am thankful to the convener of the All India Federation for Social, Honorable Mr. M.K. Stalin, and Honorable Justice E.V. Ishwaraya, and Honorable Mr. P. Wilson. Sir, I am, as per me for social justice in Indian democracy, the caste-based census is mandatory. As per history about the caste-based census, we all know that conducted in 1931. In 1931, the government of the India paid attention to the collection of the information of the conductive to better knowledge of the backward and depressed classes and of the problems involved in their present and the future welfare. Why do we want to hide the fact? If we would not get to that, how many of us are there? What is the benefit of the society? There was a need to determine the exact composition of our population and extend the reservation benefit according. If we do not know who is the standing in the last queue of the development, how come to plan same scheme for the only caste-based census?
म्यूट हो गया जानकर साहब तो म्यूट हो गए।
Hello. There is nothing but India UPA behind in the same manner. That's why I am requested to you in wealth distribution. According to a report of the Exxon on the wealth distribution in India released in that year 2022, the top 10 of the Indian population own 74.3% of the total wealth, while the middle 40 and the bottom 50 owns 22.9 and mere 2.8 respectively. This data give us a clear picture of the increasing class-based inequality in India society. But considering the fact the Indian society is also satisfied on the basis of the caste, we need to look into their caste system based composition of the top 10, middle 40 and bottom of the 50 of the Indian population in order to arrive at the fair conclusion about that the data actually represents the various caste groups in India, which caste groups were benefited from the development story of the India and which groups have been left out. This in terms of the wealth distribution, we can clearly see that upper caste groups are very overrepresented in the top of the segment of the Indian population as compared to their population share, while OBC, ST, SC and minority communities are represented in the middle and bottom of the wealth of the distribution. Thus, the structure of the wealth distribution of India is mirrors the hierarchy of the caste system. That is the benefit of the policy making. The purpose of the caste census is not merely there to the reservation issue. A caste census would actually bring to the fore for the large number of the issues and that the democratic country need to attain the particularly the number of people who are the margins who are deprived or the kind of the occupation the purpose. That's why in caste I am requested to all the OBC leaders, SC, ST and minority leaders who of open challenge. Politics is the master key which would open all the doors. इसके ऊपर हमें ज्यादा प्यार करना चाहिए. मैं स्टालिन M.K. स्टालिन साहब और ईश्वरैया और जस्टिस यादव और पी विल्सन को अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ राष्ट्रीय समाज पार्टी की ओर से. जब तक रीजनल पार्टी के नेता देश के प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनेंगे और तब तक हमारा हित नहीं होगा. कांग्रेस और बीजेपी से हमारे समाज के भी पीएम बनेंगे तो काम नहीं होने वाला है। इसलिए अपने सोचना चाहिए। स्टालिन रहे, यह भी अखिलेश यादव रहे, तेजस्वी रहे, ये लोग जब तक प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं बनेंगे ईश्वरा साहब, तब तक हमारा हित नहीं होने वाला। ब्यूरोक्रेसी में भी हम नहीं, हम भी कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर थे, कुछ नहीं होता था, आपको कोई सुनने वाले नहीं। मैं तो, मेरी छोटी पार्टी है, लेकिन छोटी छोटी पार्टी के जैसा तमिलनाडु में हमारे ओबीसी का हित होता है, वैसा हर जगह ओबीसी का हित होना है। तो हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर, हमारा चीफ सेक्रेटरी, हमारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जज जब तक हमारा नहीं होगा, तब तक हमारा हित नहीं होगा। इसी के साथ आपने मुझे मौका दिया। थैंक्स ऑफ ऑल द पीपल्स ऑफ द दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Thiru Dr. K. Kesavarao, Member of Parliament and Parliamentary Party Leader, Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti, to deliver the special address.
Anna, unmute. Please kindly unmute Honorable Member of Parliament Keshavarao ji. Unmute, please kindly.
Am I now audible?
And now we are audible.
I must thank Mr. Chandraya first for all this, because he is one of those, when he left the bench, we all thought when he wanted to join us in the movement, when we were all activists there, as students or the politicians or the legislators, we thought he would only cover the course, but he is now leading us in the movement. Anyhow, sir, this seminar, which is inspired by Mr. Stalin, as most of the speakers have said, is not enough. Seminars are not seminars. Webcasts are no webcasts. The condition of the BCs, the socially backward people, is same as it has ever been, and it will remain same. We need to ask that question as to why it is so. It is not the first time we are talking about the OBCs and talking about the poor in this manner. In a country like ours, in a nation, a multinational nation, which you call polarized society, it is not polarized society. It is some kind of, if people pardon me, it is a Brahminical order, because Varna order, of which you have reduced the entire society into, is one thing which has been divided into purity and also the pollution. And in the pollution, we have come into. Now we need to fight that pollution. We have been talking about this forever. Mr. Mole, who is here, whose presence I recognize, has written in his reform report all about it in the 4th volume. Now, why I'm saying this is, we need to find out, we have reservations, affirmative action, we have education, whether it is progressive one or revivalist one, is for you to decide. Because if I say I'm a critic of the education system, so is the education policy. So apart from that, we have the so-called schemes which my friend Derek has rolled out. All these are, in spite of all that, why is our condition is so bad as it has ever been? This has to be found out. I represent as a constituency, let us say all of us represent a constituency where the majority, according to you, is OBCs. Is of the OBCs, SCs, STs, minorities, and others. Why is that you are not getting elected? Why is that only the Reddy Saab or the Brahmin Saab or the Kamba Saab or the Velba Saab is getting elected? So this has to be found. That is why when we talk about education, I said, don't say use education for awareness sake. Use education for motivation sake. Let the boys be motivated into social realities and social justice. Now, social justice here is means distributive justice. Social justice here is a long chapter. So I would not include, because we are born in a very peculiar society where I can't just talk what exactly is social injustice. Everything is justice to us. Whoever is the poor is injustice. And unfortunately, all the poor are backward classes, mostly. Now, I said when we are talking about democratic society, in a democratic society, it is totally nothing but majoritism. Is it not? Majority should make the rule. But we are majority, but we are nowhere to reckon with. So these are few questions which are coming.
Can I come in?
Pardon? फारूक साहब कुछ बोलना था.
I thought after you I could come in and address.
So I will end this. I have nothing more to say, but say all that you are saying is correct, but at the same time, let the public worker take up the task of changing bringing the social change. This legalities and other things, we have everything in the constitution and little amendments in the constitution have also come in. They're all there. We need to take it up as a challenge, as a social challenge, as a social revolution, because political revolution is only an offshoot of social revolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Farooq Abdullah, Member of Parliament and President of the Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, to address the gathering. Sir, we request you to kindly unmute the
Sir, Honorable Mr. Farooq Abdullah साहब, kindly unmute. कृपया आप अनम्यूट करिए. अनम्यूट करिए भाई साहब, आपका माइक म्यूट में है. म्यूट में है भाई साहब. नो काइंडली अनम्यूट. उसका स्पीकर के ऊपर दबाए तो फिर अनम्यूट हो जाएगा. दो आइकन्स रहेंगे इधर, एक वीडियो का एक म्यूट का स्पीकर, उसमें दबाए तो अनम्यूट हो जाएगा. नहीं हुआ अभी. नीचे रहता भाई साहब. म्यूट में है भाई साहब.
Farooq Saab, please touch the screen. You will find an icon of mute at the left. You can touch that and then you can talk.
Since we have some technical issues, I request the Honorable Thiru Sanjay Singh, Member of Parliament, Aam Aadmi Party, to deliver the special address.
सबसे पहले मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा तमिलनाडु के मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय एमके स्टालिन साहब को, पी विल्सन साहब को, कि उन्होंने एक अच्छी चर्चा की शुरुआत की है सोशल जस्टिस के मुद्दे को लेकर। आज जिस विषय पे हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे हैं, इसकी वर्षों से लड़ाई चली आ रही। एक व्यक्ति किसके घर में पैदा होगा ये उसके हाथ में नहीं होता। एक व्यक्ति किस जाति में पैदा होगा ये उसके हाथ में नहीं होता। जब वो बड़ा हो जाता है, समझदार हो जाता है, तो उसको बताया जाता है कि आप अछूत हो। जन्म के आधार पर भेदभाव की व्यवस्था का हम लोग विरोध करते हैं और सामाजिक न्याय का मूल सिद्धांत यही होना चाहिए। भारत का संविधान, बाबा साहब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर ने जो संविधान इस देश को दिया, उस संविधान की मूल आत्मा क्या है, उसकी प्रस्तावना क्या है? प्रस्तावना सामाजिक बराबरी की बात करती है, प्रस्तावना आर्थिक बराबरी की बात करती है। लेकिन आजादी के 75 साल के बाद भी अगर बुलंदशहर में सीआरपीएफ के जवान को थाने में एप्लीकेशन देनी पड़ती है कि मैं दलित समाज से हूं, मुझे पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन दीजिए, तब मैं घोड़ी पर बैठ के जाऊंगा। इसका मतलब आज भी छुआछूत और भेदभाव की व्यवस्था है। अगर आजादी के 75 साल के बाद भी कर्नाटका के अंदर एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट को गांव में इसलिए घुसने नहीं दिया जाता उद्घाटन करने के लिए क्योंकि वो दलित कम्युनिटी से है, अगर आजादी के 75 साल के बाद भी हाथरस जैसा कांड होता है, अगर आजादी के 75 साल के बाद भी मध्य प्रदेश में एक दलित को शमशान में अंतिम संस्कार नहीं करने दिया जाता, इसका मतलब आज भी सामाजिक न्याय का मुद्दा जीवंत है। बराबरी चाहिए और गैर बराबरी के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई जारी रहेगी। आज लेटरल एससी कम्युनिटी लेटरल एंट्री के जरिए भारत की सरकार बड़े बड़े पदों पर अपने चहेते लोगों को भर्ती करते जा रही है। यूनिवर्सिटीज के अंदर देश के सारे विश्वविद्यालयों में तमाम जगहों पर आरक्षण की व्यवस्था को खत्म किया जा रहा है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो माता जी हैं, उनकी मां जो है आरएसएस, उसके प्रमुख मोहन भागवत जी बिहार के चुनाव में कहते हैं रिजर्वेशन पर रिव्यू होना चाहिए, रिजर्वेशन खत्म होना चाहिए। मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं, जब तक इस देश के अंदर गैर बराबरी की व्यवस्था है, आरक्षण के जरिए लोगों को न्याय की व्यवस्था चलनी चाहिए, तभी वो समाज में आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। डॉक्टर लोहिया ने कहा था, डॉक्टर राम मनोहर लोहिया ने कहा था, एक व्यक्ति 0 पॉइंट पे खड़ा है, एक व्यक्ति 20 किलोमीटर आगे खड़ा है, दोनों में प्रतियोगिता नहीं कराई जा सकती। अगर आपको बराबरी की लड़ाई करानी है तो जो 0 पर खड़ा है उसको आगे लेकर आइए और तब प्रतियोगिता कराइए। और इसके लिए रिजर्वेशन का जो सिद्धांत है वो विशेष अवसर का सिद्धांत है, जो समाज के पिछड़े हुए, शोषित, वंचित लोगों को मिलना ही चाहिए। तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि जिस तरह से कास्ट सेंसस, जाति जनगणना से भाग रही है सरकार, ये क्यों भाग रहे हैं? क्योंकि इनकी जो मातृ संस्था है आरएसएस, वो चाहती है कि वर्ण व्यवस्था रहे समाज के अंदर, जाति के आधार पर भेदभाव रहे समाज के अंदर। वो चाहती है कि ये जो भेदभाव की व्यवस्था वर्षों से चली आ रही है, ये जीवित और जिंदा रहे। मैं आम आदमी पार्टी के तौर पे अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की ओर से ये कहना चाहता हूं कि हम इस जाति जनगणना के पक्ष में हैं और जातिगत जनगणना देश की सरकार को कराना चाहिए। पता तभी चलेगा किस जाति के कितने लोग हैं और तभी आप उनके साथ न्याय कर सकते हैं। अन्यथा खाली सबका साथ सबका विकास का नारा देके और कुछ लोगों को आप खरबोपति बनाते जाएं तो ये व्यवस्था चलने वाली नहीं है। आज देश की सारी संपत्ति आकाश में पूछो जहाज अडानी का, जमीन पे आ जाओ एयरपोर्ट अडानी का, समुद्र में चले जाओ सीपोर्ट अडानी का, पाताल में चले जाओ कोयला अडानी का, गैस अडानी का, आयरन ओर अडानी का, स्टील अडानी का, सीमेंट अडानी का। आज सारी की सारी संपत्ति आकाश से लेकर पाताल तक प्रधानमंत्री ने अडानी को दे दिया। 2.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए का कर्जा दिया, 86,000 करोड़ रुपए का कर्जा माफ किया। आप कहते हो सबका साथ सबका विकास? नहीं, सबका साथ सबका विकास नहीं है। विकास सिर्फ नरेंद्र मोदी जी के मित्रों का है, मित्रों का। और इस व्यवस्था को हमें बदलकर ऐसी व्यवस्था लानी पड़ेगी जिसमें आर्थिक भागीदारी भी हो, सामाजिक भागीदारी भी हो और नौकरियों में भी बराबर की भागीदारी हो, तभी ये देश आगे जब बढ़ पाएगा। मैं फिर से एक बार आप सबको बधाई देते हुए ये कास्ट सेंसस का जो मुद्दा है उसका समर्थन करते हुए आम आदमी पार्टी की ओर से, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की ओर से आपको विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि इस लड़ाई को जब जब आप आगे बढ़ाएंगे, जहां कहीं भी हम लोगों को बुलाएंगे, सदन से लेके सड़क तक आपके साथ खड़े रहेंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Farooq Abdullah, Member of Parliament and President of the Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, to deliver the special address.
Thank you, Mr. Stalin, for this meeting, and to all the other leaders that have joined in this movement for India to grow for all. Those who have been deprived for years, need to be brought out of that poverty and have to be given better life. That is what India should be for everyone. And for that, we must unite. And unless we unite and we form a central government, many of these things will not be possible. Anyway, we will try in our states to see where the states are being ruled by people other than the party that is in Delhi. Maybe they will be able to implement some of these things that Mr. Stalin has been able to do in Tamil Nadu. He has done a wonderful work. He has continued the legacy of Periyar and his father. And I'm sure this movement will continue in the rest of the nation. No doubt, many speakers before me have put before you the condition that OBCs face, the Adivasis face, the downtrodden face. But let us not forget that even in Brahmins, there are people who are still downtrodden. I have seen that myself. So if we want to build a future of India, an India which will really shine, now let's think of all, irrespective of what their religion is, what their caste is, what their creed is, to where they belong, what their language is. Unless we do that, this will remain a dream for this nation. I hope this movement will continue and we will strengthen it. I can assure Mr. Stalin that we are behind him and we will be united to see that this nation shines for everyone and is prosperous for everyone. That is what dream of those who fought for India's independence, gave their lives to see Nehru put the flag on 15th of August on the Lal Killa. Never forget those who died for it. Never knew one day will come when India will be free. But India needs to be free still. It is still not free. People are still poor. People are still without education, without health, the primary things that nation needs. And therefore, I hope to God and I pray on this holy month of Ramadan that may He help us all to get out of this tragedy that we are facing today in our nation. My best wishes to all the leaders that are going to come and speak after me. And I hope that we see a shining India before I sleep. I hope that day comes and we can all together look at India as a nation that can be a beacon of light for the rest of the world. God bless you all, and God bless Tamil Nadu and its Chief Minister and its people for the movement forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Sitaram Yechuri, former Member of Parliament and General Secretary of the Communist Party of India Marxist, to deliver his special address.
Everybody present here. At the outset, I must profusely thank Thiru Stalin for inviting me and all the others for this important consultation on how to carry forward the struggle to ensure social justice in our country. Thiru Stalin has been admirably carrying forward the struggles launched initially by the Periyar, whose legacy was continued by Thiru Annadurai, subsequently by Kalangar Thiru Karunanidhi, and now Thiru Stalin is taking forward this whole struggle to ensure that social justice can be achieved on the four foundational pillars of equality, social justice, rationalism, and self-respect. Now, these are very important elements in the struggle for social justice. Unfortunately, social justice has often been understood merely as being limited to reservations. Reservations are important, are extremely important, because they open the windows of opportunity which otherwise remained closed in the caste-driven society of ours, based on caste oppression. These windows were never allowed to be open. Reservations open these windows. So they are a necessary conditions for achieving social justice, but they are not sufficient. To make that sufficient, reservations must be accompanied by economic empowerment. And it is this economic empowerment, along with these reservations, that can give a modicum of self-respect to people who have been oppressed traditionally for centuries. The social oppression has to end. If that has to end, we all will have to act together. And this is required in a much more urgent and important manner as to be addressed in today's conditions. Because no economic empowerment would be possible without economic development. And economic development cannot be confined only to the few at the top, while the rest of the population gets immiserized. During the last 2 years, the wealth that was generated in India, 40.5% of that wealth was cornered by 1% of our population. The bottom 50% of our population had just access to 3% of that wealth. Now, this is a state of affairs in which economic empowerment to ensure social justice is achieved, it would not be possible. So this corporate communal nexus that has emerged today, that has to be fought, and the bigotry that is associated with it, based on very clear-cut communal polarization, that today is actually creating different categories of citizens in India. Reservations were also granted after the Sachar Committee report for Muslims who could be categorized as OBCs. Now, in the state of Karnataka, the BJP government has annulled the classification of Muslims as OBCs, while it remains for Jains and Sikhs and other minority religions, but for Muslims it has been annulled. So this sort of an atmosphere of bigotry, where hatred and poisonous treatment of a particular minority, whether it's Muslims or Christians, if this sort of a situation is not controlled and this hatred is not eliminated, social justice will be a very, very distant goal. And we seem to be moving further away unless we combat this communal corporate nexus that has come to rule the country today. And in that connection, it is important that all of us who are assembled here must come together to ensure that the foundational pillars of India's constitution, these foundational pillars, that is secular democracy, economic sovereignty, social justice and federalism, are protected, safeguarded and strengthened in the days to come. Therefore, this is a very important initiative undertaken by Thiru Stalin and the DMK, and to implement this at the national level, given the plurality in our country, the diversities in our country, it is necessary that in every region and state the peculiar conditions must be properly studied, so that for this common objective of advancing the cause of social justice, we can all unite properly. And that is why today, self-respect is one of the major issues involved. Just a couple of days ago, we observed the Vaikam Satyagraha, the historic Vaikam Satyagraha entering its 100th year. A Satyagraha that was led, saw the participation of Mahatma Gandhi, which saw the Periyar going to Kerala, going to Vaikam, which saw Sri Narayan Guru participating in that Satyagraha. And after more than 600 days of the Satyagraha, finally, the first step of winning the battle for social justice was undertaken in the country. So therefore, today we must carry forward that struggle. We have moved forward, but we have to move much more ahead. And to carry forward that struggle, I think all of us will have to come together to ensure the Indian Constitution and democracy are preserved, and on that basis, the struggle for social justice advances. I'm sure everybody here will make their contributions in order to carry this struggle forward, and I wish Thiru Stalin and the DMK to take this initiative even further and to strengthen this movement for social justice by combating the communal corporate nexus and ending bigotry in our country so that we all can live as human beings first and then with our different labels of our religion, of our caste, whatever the other labels are, identities are, but we are first above all human beings. And that is why I think this is an important struggle, and I wish success to carry forward this struggle for all of us who are part of this struggle for social justice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. D. Raja, former Member of Parliament and General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, to deliver his special address.
Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, my very beloved brother, Mr. Stalin, leaders of various political parties and social movements, friends, comrades. Our party, the Communist Party of India, I congratulate Mr. Stalin for taking this initiative to unite all forces on the question of social justice. Tamil Nadu is a land of Thiruvalluvar. It is land of Ayodhyadas Pandit. It is land of Periyar. It is land of communist leader Singaravelu. It is land of our great Anna Kalaignar. And they all fought for social justice. They all fought for self-respect of our people in Tamil Nadu. And now Mr. Stalin has been carrying forward that legacy. I wish him all success. It so happened Periyar and Ambedkar had a great relationship. When Ambedkar went to London to participate in the Roundtable Conference, Ambedkar was undermined by several forces. At that point of time, it was Periyar who came out openly supporting Ambedkar, and he wrote series of articles in Kudiyarasu. That is the relationship, that is the commitment Periyar had with Ambedkar. Now we are discussing the question of social justice. At this point of time, our country is in an all-pervasive crisis, social, economic, and political. And the Constitution is under attack. Dr. Ambedkar was the prime architect of our Constitution. Our Constitution makes it clear Indian state should be a secular state. Indian state should be a welfare state. Indian state should be a federal state. But what is happening today? The forces of communal fascism, the forces of right reaction are taking all efforts, steps to impose a monolithic, illiberal, medieval, socio-political order on our people, which is to perpetuate the caste system, the inequality. Again, our Constitution makes it clear. Justice, social, political, and economic. The Constitution makes it clear. Liberty, equality, and fraternity. They constitute a trinity, and you cannot separate one from other. But this Constitution is being attacked And there are efforts to throw out this constitution. In such a situation, what is social justice? What is social justice? And here we all should try to understand the fundamental challenges that we face today. The fundamental challenges in our battle for social justice are caste, class, and patriarchy. Dr. Ambedkar made it clear. Caste is a monster. Wherever you go, that monster crosses your way. Unless you kill that monster, you cannot think of any political reform or economic reform. That is the situation in our country. That is the situation in our country. In such a situation, how we can work together? How we can work together to end the caste system, to work for annihilation of caste, and to end class exploitation, and to ensure gender equality. Then only we can strive for a classless, a casteless India, a society which I call a socialist society. But what is happening today in our country? The caste has become a big challenge. Here, reservation, everyone agrees, reservation is not a poverty alleviation program. Reservation is not a poverty alleviation program. Reservation has been fought and introduced in order to uplift the socially, economically, educationally deprived sections of our people. They are Dalits, Adivasis, and OBCs. Now, reservation ensures access to education, employment in public sector. Where is the public sector? All public undertakings are being privatized and sold out to big corporate houses, big business houses. Where is the scope for reservation? This time has come. We will have to fight for reservation in private sector. Why not? Why government is not thinking on that issue? Reservation in private sector? Because on one side, public sector is being dismantled and no reservation in private sector. How to overcome this problem? How to overcome this problem? Here, cost matters, but how to do it? I do not want to go to the history, what happened in 1931, the first census. But now, what is happening? In 1997, when the United Front government was there, when Comrade Indrajit Gupta, our communist leader, was Home Minister, a notification was issued by Welfare Ministry. That is to say, caste to be included as a category. After that, Mr. Vajpayee came to power. That notification has been cancelled. Now again, we are raising this issue. There should be caste census. Yes, there should be caste census as part of data. Earlier, socio-economic survey was done, but even that report was not made public. When we say caste census must be made, our party has supported. In Bihar, the state government has initiated. Our party is with the state government supporting this demand. And at national level, what we should do? Yes, we should opt for collection of caste data. At the same time, I must draw your attention. In India, we must strive for the unity of OBCs and SC/STs. And the conflict, if it arises between OBCs and SC/STs, that is not good for the progressive movement in the country. So we must strive for uniting OBCs and the SC/ST people, and we must fight unitedly for all demands for the socially deprived people for ages. Here, we must strive for a new India free from caste, exploitations, enslavements, and that is the issue which comes before us. Here, we can go on discussing, but how to reach out to the people, how to unite the political forces, how to unite the social movements which stand for social justice, It is a long-drawn battle. But we will have to wage this battle, and we will have to fight and win this battle, because there are the right-wing forces, communal fascist forces. They think they can take the whole country for granted, political parties for granted. Now, we need to save the nation. We need to save the constitution. We need to save the interests, the rights of socially deprived sections of our society, the OBCs, SC, ST. How to do it? That is the challenge before us. Here, I understand Mr. Stalin has taken a very great initiative on a critical issue like social justice. He has taken the initiative to mobilize all forces, political, social, at national level. And we will have to carry forward this legacy. Our party, the Communist Party of India, shares the concerns of Mr. Stalin and DMK, and we commit ourselves to work together for a better society, for a better nation. So friends, comrades, this is before us. Our future generation should think. We keep on remembering Ambedkar, Periyar, Phule, Guru Nanak, everybody. But the future generation should remember us that we fought for a better society, a better nation. And this initiative will go as an historic initiative taken by Mr. Stalin, and we all need to support this initiative. Our party gives its full support, and our party gives all best wishes for Mr. Stalin and this organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Tejashvi Yadav, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, to deliver his special address.
I wholeheartedly welcome everyone present in All India Federation for Social Justice, First National Conference. अभी पूर्व में जितने भी वक्ताएं थे, उन सब की बातें जो हैं हम सुन रहे थे, और बड़ी खुशी हुई इस बात को लेकर के कि सभी लोग जो हैं इस बात को बोल रहे हैं कि कास्ट सर्वे जो है वो होना चाहिए, कास्ट सेंसस जो है वो होना चाहिए। मैं आप सब लोगों को बता दूं कि जो हमारी महागठबंधन की सरकार है, वो हम सब लोगों ने मिलकर के कास्ट बेस्ड सर्वे कराने का ऐलान किया, और इसकी शुरुआत जो है हो चुकी है, और इसकी लड़ाई हमारे पिता आदरणीय लालू जी ने हर मुकाम पे लड़ा है, सड़क से संसद तक इसकी लड़ाई लड़ी। और क्योंकि राज्य सरकार जो है कास्ट सेंसस जो है नहीं करा सकती है, इसलिए हम लोगों ने सारे पहलुओं को देखते हुए हमारी सरकार ने फैसला किया कि कास्ट बेस्ड सर्वे जो है वो कराई जाए। तो इसकी शुरुआत हो चुकी है और जैसा आप लोग सब लोग जानते हैं कि सामाजिक न्याय, सोशल जस्टिस के लिए पेरियार साहब, अन्ना जी, करुणानिधि जी, कर्पूरी ठाकुर जी और हमारे पिता ने संघर्ष किया। कई मुकाम माइलस्टोन्स जो हैं हम लोगों ने लागू जो है हम लोगों ने पाया है, मुकाम जो है पाए हैं, और भी हम लोगों का कई संघर्ष करने की जरूरत है और काफी चीजें मुकाम पाना, हासिल करना अभी बाकी है। और अभी हेमंत सोरेन साहब यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं। हम सब लोग को एक कलेक्टिव कंसर्न है कि जो भी विपक्षी दल है या कांग्रेस प्रदेश शासित राज्य है, वहां 27% रिजर्वेशन, 27% रिजर्वेशन हम लोगों को राज्य सरकार को करना चाहिए। लेकिन चिंता इस बात की होती है कि जब छत्तीसगढ़ की सरकार 27% ओबीसी के लिए रिजर्वेशन लाती है और झारखंड सरकार जब 27% की रिजर्वेशन लाती है, तो वहां के गवर्नर साहब जो हैं दोनों प्रदेशों के, वो रोक लेते हैं। इसका स्पष्ट मानना यह है कि इशारा कहीं और से होता है। और मैं फारूक अब्दुल्ला जी की बात से टोटल सहमत हूं कि जब तक सत्ता में, दिल्ली के सत्ता में जो लोग काबिज हैं, जिनकी विचारधारा जो है आरएसएस की है, और जब तक उनको हटाया नहीं जाएगा, सत्ता से बेदखल नहीं किया जाएगा, तब तक हम लोगों को पिछड़ों का, गरीबों का अधिकार नहीं मिलेगा। और इसके लिए हम सब लोगों को लड़ाई लड़ने की जरूरत है। अपने अपने ईगोस को दूर रख करके एक हो करके लड़ाई जो है वो लड़ना चाहिए। और पहले भी, पूर्व में भी हम लोगों ने देखा है कि जब भी भाजपा धार्मिक उन्माद या धार्मिक ध्रुवीकरण जब भी करती है, जब भी सोसाइटी को कॉमनलाइज करती है, तो इनको हराने के लिए हम लोगों ने पहले भी देखा है कि सामाजिक न्याय की जो राजनीति है उसी से हम जो है इनको हरा सकते हैं। और सबसे बड़ी आबादी जो है सब लोग जानते हैं कि किसकी है। तो एक बार जब कास्ट बेस्ड सर्वे बिहार में, हमको लगता है कि मई के 1-2 महीनों में जो है ये पूरा आ जाएगा, तो उसी हिसाब से हम अपनी सरकार की योजनाएं जो है वो बनाने का काम करेंगे। और जो अंतिम पैदान पे खड़ा जो समाज है, जो बैक बेंचर ऑफ द सोसाइटी है, उनको मुख्य धारा में हम सब लोग जो है लाने का हमारी सरकार जो है प्रयास करने का काम करेगी। लेकिन आज की स्थिति में देखिए, देश में जो माहौल है, देयर इज नो ओबीसी रिप्रेजेंटेशन एज पर ओबीसी पॉपुलेशन इन यूनिवर्सिटीज या इन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस। तो ये काफी जो है चिंता का सवाल है। जहां यूनिवर्सिटी में देख लीजिए तो ओबी पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से हम लोगों का रिजर्वेशन नहीं है। जितने सेंट्रल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं वहां रिप्रेजेंटेशन हमारा जो होना चाहिए वो नहीं है। और आप देखिएगा जुडिशरी में हम लोगों की भी मांग लगातार रही है कि जुडिशरी में रिजर्वेशन जो है वो होना चाहिए। और मेरे मानना है कि ओबीसी कोटा को एज पर ओबीसी पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज करना चाहिए। तो इसकी लड़ाई जो है हम सब लोगों को मिलकर के जो है वो लड़ना है। और साथ ही साथ आप देखिएगा कि सारी सत्ता में बैठे हुए, दिल्ली में बैठे हुए जो लोग हैं वो एंटी ओबीसी तो है ही, एंटी सोशल जस्टिस तो है ही, एंटी रिजर्वेशन भी है। और आज जितने इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जहां भी रिजर्वेशन लागू होते थे, जो ओबीसी हो, एससी हो, एसटी हो, जिनको रोजगार में रिजर्वेशन मिलता था, नौकरियां मिलती थी, आज वैसे सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को प्राइवेटाइज कर दिया जा रहा है। जब सरकारी संस्थाएं जब प्राइवेटाइज हो जाएंगी तो आरक्षण का क्या महत्व रह जाएगा? कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा। और आज देखा ही जा रहा है कि सारे, चाहे बीएसएनएल हो, रेल हो, सेल हो, भेल हो, हर एक चीज को जो है बेच दिया जा रहा है। तो इसलिए अब सबसे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण ये आ जाता है कि इनको तो हराना है आने वाले 2024 के चुनाव में, लेकिन साथ ही साथ हम सब लोगों को मिलकर के लड़ाई जो है, अभी डी राजा साहब बता रहे थे कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर में रिजर्वेशन जो है हम लोगों को उसके लिए मिलकर के संघर्ष करने की जरूरत है। और जब तक प्राइवेट सेक्टर में रिजर्वेशन नहीं होगा तब तक लोगों को जो है इंसाफ और जो है नहीं मिलेगा। और बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि आज सब लोग जो है ये पहला नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में, जिसमें मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ तमिलनाडु के चीफ मिनिस्टर स्टालिन साहब का कि उन्होंने इसके लिए बहुत पहल की है, विल्सन साहब का। मैं ऐश्वर्या जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ, वीरमणि जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ कि जब जब ये याद करते हैं हम हमेशा मौजूद रहते हैं। और ये पिछले साल जब हमारी मीटिंग हुई थी उसमें ये निर्णय लिया गया था कि अगले बार से जो है नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस हम लोग जो है करेंगे। तो आज इसकी शुरुआत हुई है तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई कि पहल जो है, गाड़ी जो है आगे बढ़ी है और मिलकर के लड़ाई लड़ना है और अपने लोगों को अधिकार की लड़ाई जो है वो लड़ करके उनको अधिकार हम लोग मिलकर के दिलाएंगे। तो सभी लोगों को यहाँ मौजूद कॉन्फ्रेंस में जितने लोग हैं सब लोगों का मैं अभिनंदन करता हूँ, आप सब लोगों का स्वागत करता हूँ, सलाम करता हूँ और ज्यादा समय ना लेते हुए हम अपनी बातों को यहीं समाप्त करते हैं। आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
तेजस्वी जी, अगली कॉन्फ्रेंस आप पटना में कराइए। देश भर
अरे आप कहीं भी चाहिए, हम तो तैयार हैं। अगली कॉन्फ्रेंस हम जरूर, आप लोग चाहेंगे तो हम पटना में ऑर्गेनाइज करा देंगे। लेकिन हम देखिए इतने प्रतिबद्ध हैं। लास्ट टाइम आप लोगों ने जब मीटिंग में हमको बुलाया था उस समय हम हनीमून पे थे दुबई में, और उस समय भी हम आपका जो मीटिंग कॉन्फ्रेंस जो है वो अटेंड किया। और मुझे खुशी है जब ये मीटिंग कर रहे तो हम पिता बन चुके। तो बहुत बहुत आप सब लोगों को धन्यवाद। जरूर हम अपनी मीटिंग जो है आप लोग चाहेंगे तो पटना में ऑर्गेनाइज कराएंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, Leader of Opposition Uttar Pradesh and President of the Samajwadi Party, to deliver the special address.
सबको सभी के लिए, एवरीथिंग फॉर एवरीवन के उद्घोष के साथ ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन फॉर सोशल जस्टिस की स्थापना का सत प्रयास सराहनीय है। तमिलनाडु के मुख्यमंत्री और डीएम के माननीय अध्यक्ष श्री M.K. स्टालिन ने सामाजिक जागरूकता के लिए जो पहल की है वह सामाजिक न्याय की शक्तियों को एकजुट करने में सार्थक साबित होगी। दक्षिण भारत में श्री पेरियार ने जिस सामाजिक आंदोलन की अलग जगाई उससे अछूता उत्तर भारत भी नहीं रहा था। तमिलनाडु के तत्कालीन मुख्यमंत्री श्री करुणानिधि और उत्तर प्रदेश के तत्कालीन मुख्यमंत्री श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव की भी मुलाकात हुई थी। उन नेताओं की भेंट का ऐतिहासिक और राजनीतिक महत्व कम नहीं आंका जाना चाहिए। डॉक्टर राम मनोहर लोहिया ने जिस सामाजिक न्याय की अनिवार्यता पर बल दिया था, समाजवादी पार्टी की उसके प्रति अटूट प्रतिबद्धता रही है। डॉक्टर लोहिया ने पिछड़ों के लिए संसोपा ने बांधी गांठ, पिछड़े पावे 100 में 60 की सामाजिक व्यवस्था के साथ ही विशेष अवसर के सिद्धांत का भी प्रतिपादन किया था, जो संविधान में आरक्षण का आधार बना। समाजवादी पार्टी समानता, सामाजिक न्याय तथा आत्मसम्मान के लिए लड़ाई में हर कदम पर सहभाग के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। स्मरणीय है कि समाजवादी पार्टी ने पूर्व रक्षा मंत्री तथा पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री उत्तर प्रदेश नेताजी श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव के नेतृत्व में मंडल कमीशन की रिपोर्ट को लागू कराने के लिए लंबा आंदोलन चलाया था। हजारों समाजवादी कार्यकर्ताओं ने जेल यातनाएं सही, तब जाकर के मंडल कमीशन की रिपोर्ट लागू हो सकी। समाजवादी पार्टी सबके लिए हक और सम्मान चाहती है, इसलिए समाजवादी पार्टी का मानना है कि जब तक सामाजिक न्याय नहीं होगा तब तक न आर्थिक समानता आएगी और न ही सामाजिक गैरबराबरी का अंत होगा। समान अवसर और सम्मान के साथ सभी को जीने का अधिकार मिलना चाहिए। शोषण मुक्त समाज की स्थापना ही समाजवाद का ध्येय है। आज आवश्यकता है कि शोषणकारी व्यवस्था की समाप्ति और संपन्नता के प्रति के लिए सामाजिक न्याय की शक्तियां संगठित और सशक्त हों। इसके लिए परस्पर विमर्श, कार्यक्रम तथा संघर्ष का रास्ता ही बचता है। समाजवादी पार्टी माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री M.K. स्टालिन के नेतृत्व में ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन फॉर सोशल जस्टिस की पहली बैठक की सफलता की कामना करती है।
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. M. Veerappa Moily, former Chief Minister of Karnataka and former Union Minister of the Indian National Congress, to deliver the special address.